there were years of struggle, years of losses, years of me wondering how come, we don't get the same type of support as others in the business. But at the same time, you gotta go through that.
Right.
Some people now just want it overnight, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is where you're gonna make destruction because it's a shortcut.
I tolerate men.
We live in a risky world,
Yeah. The Perspectives podcast is brought to you by TruVybz Island Prints. For the best quality t-shirts and prints, TruVybz is your only choice. The Perspectives podcast is also brought to you by Jaay Tattoo. For clean tattoos like these, book your appointments today. Welcome back to Perspectives Media. Tonight we have a big promoter out of St. Kitts Nevis. Arguably one of the biggest promoters out of St. Kitts Nevis. Is it? Introduce yourself to the Perspectives family.
Greetings to the Perspective Media family. My name is Raphael Rodney. Most people know me as Phonse.
So Phonse, what are you about?
Progress, elevation, continued good results,
Yeah,
success,
yeah.
positive things.
Alright, so the thing that you're most well known for is event promotion. How did you get into event promotion?
It's funny, we started out with a t-shirt line. Yeah, about Cool of It is 10 years old. We started Canejuice in 2008. And we initially started out doing t-shirts, some I Love SK t-shirts. I was in school in the Bronx and was trying to make some money for summer to come back to St. Kitts. So he had some shirts trending at the time with I Love NY on it. And I walk out like, yo, I could sell some of these with I Love SK.
Yeah.
And started to do that. I went there, get some t-shirt printed, packed them up in a duffel bag, went to a couple backyard barbecues, started selling them, went on the parkway, started selling them. Then I expanded to St. Kitts. Link up with good friend of mine for Japan Julie, Elton Japan, and he father had a store at the time.
Yeah.
So, I tell him let's come up with a concept because we didn't have enough money at the time to print up all of the shirts. Basically, the shirts that we initially started with, the investment that I made to get the shirts, basically started to break even. Plus, I wouldn't say break even, a little profit was in it because that's how I bought my ticket to come back St. Kitts that year. But we work out, we're gonna put out an advertisement to see how much interest we would gather to get the shirts, and we started to get some pre-orders, and that's really where it started. So we get some pre-orders, printed up some additional ones plus the pre-orders, take them back to St. Kitts and set up shop on the corner of 4th Street. Yeah, we used to sell t-shirt on the corner.
You used to sell
Street.
t-shirts. So how you transition from selling t-shirts?
So after the t-shirts, we wanted a way to basically introduce the brand to St. Kitts Nevis, and we came up with a idea to launch. Before I kind of fast forward, the transition from I Love SK to the Canejuice shirts was because I wanted something a bit different, not just patriotic, something that could sell anywhere. So whether you're Jamaican, Trinidadian, Antiguan, Kittian, at least, I think everybody love Canejuice, right? So I started out, the brand was just for females, exclusive shirts, different designs, and then we branch off into men and females. And then to get the brand outside even more and marketed the right way and promoted, I decided to do a modeling show and after party, and that's how we got into doing events. Yeah. So we launched with a modeling show and after party.
So what was the initial reception like for that modeling
that was
show?
a success. People loved it. And that's really how we started doing events in a club in Sugar's parking lot. And then after that, it just started to go from there. We decided to do a cooler fete because I was still in college at the time, so I used to come for summer and Christmas, fly back and forth. And during school, I was playing in a band. Drums, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we used to play.
Marching band?
No, man, a band, music.
Oh, you mean in St.
I
Kitts
can
Nevis?
play music. I am musically inclined. I could play drums, bass, and keyboard.
What?
Yeah, my mother sent us to music school, and growing up in the church, we play music.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people on here play music, you just don't even know. We start out playing music. Most people in a band right now, artists, probably they were singing in the church though.
Mm-hmm.
But so while I was in school, to make some extra money to join a band called Major Damage Band, and I was playing drums in the band, and I was introduced to all kind of people. And I met an older guy from a band in St. Kitts called Bingo Bango, and he took me to a cooler fete in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really how I decided to try the cooler fete idea in St. Kitts. Because at the time, nobody was doing it. And I decided, let me just take a risk, take the money from the shirts, put it into this. And that's how we started. I remember 2000 and... what year that was? We celebrated 10 years. Yo, let me tell you, time flies. But we started Cooler Fete, very small, probably 400 or 500 people. Show in Winchester. That was the first artist that I ever booked. And I remember when the night was finished, after he finished performing, he told me straight up, like, don't ever stop doing this. You will eventually blow your own mind with the levels and success that it could reach.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, like, whoa, oh, you know that? Because at that time, I mean, we probably had like 400 people there. He said, trust me, for first time Cooler Fete, I just feel the vibes. This is gonna go. Just stay doing your thing, be positive, stand the right path, and that was it.
So where did it go from there in terms of Canejuice promotion? Because it's not just Canejuice Cooler Fete. So you would have continued in the same part that you
Yeah, so Cooler Fete was you could say the first major event that we ever tried. And then we worked on that for a few years. Like Cooler Fete wasn't making any money. It was losing, as a matter of fact, for the first maybe 3 to 5 years. But what we started to do is just had some smaller events, and we take time and just master them one by one. So we started out with a all-black party called Guest List. Then we had Tropics, and then we added Soca Event. Soca Event was added because, you know, Soca wasn't really getting much love after Carnival. Right? It was really predominantly dancehall. Still kind of is that way, but no, we accept soca in the dancehall, right? And you're seeing a lot of collaborations that way, but we decided to do the soca thing a bit more, and the artist booking the dancehall artist was becoming real expensive though. Yeah. So at that time, the soca artists, sometimes you could get at least 2-3 soca acts based on the connections that you have for the price of
one dancer.
Yeah. That's the reality. And not only that, to like, it's still kind of like with culture, even though we're now like a melting pot of different cultures. Because you realize even most of the dancehall, the top dancehall acts now doing collaborations with soca artists.
Not just soca artists, you can see even internationally Afrobeats almost take over.
Ever, yeah. Like, it's the most ever.
The biggest thing.
Definitely.
Like, there has never been a time before in music where dancehall is the top genre in the Caribbean, or even there is a argument for another genre over dancehall in the Caribbean. Not even rap, not even hip hop. Has ever been
disaccepted.
So continuing on the journey now, you would have been throwing these events. Did these smaller events meet immediate success like how Cooler Fete met?
You see, after we started to work on the brand, and I was always of the opinion and view that we should build the experience each and every time. Because, you know, we really didn't start it out with much funding. I remember, you know, we used to try our best to get the best in sponsorships, and so the smaller events is what helped to propel the bigger ones, right? And we cater to a much smaller crowd. We take our time and market them, come up with various concepts. We used to do, before we even do Cooler Fete, we were doing traffic lights in Carmel. right? That was a color concept where you come dressed in the color which resembles your relationship status. So you wear green if you're single, you wear red if you're taken, stuff like that. And then we did the All Black Party. Then we did Tropics. Tropics started out as a hit, and the intention behind that was to bring that summertime kind of like high life, bougie life, Miami type style that most people couldn't really experience unless you know somebody with a big house and a private pool.
That's true.
So we decided to bring that vibe so anybody and everybody could enjoy it. And we did the first one at Palm Court, and then the intention really behind Tropics was for it to eventually end up by a hotel or a beach.
Yeah.
Right? Because we would know based on the locations in St. Kitts, as it go in numbers, then after a while a pool may not be able to accommodate the numbers that
Yeah.
So unless it's like a hotel pool, and the space is definitely there. So over the years we go and we're able to meet the target and hit our accomplishments, and honestly to putting in a lot of time and taking care of the reviews and what customers say. Not necessarily, you take some of the negative and you could definitely build off of it, but the positive too. Because when your patrons need more what they desire, sometimes it's up to you to also create the vibe. So every single time I would finish an event and it was successful, or even if it wasn't successful, I always go through the data. I always get my ears to the ground, jump on a plane, travel, pick up different ideas, reinvest in the brand. That's one thing I definitely do. Reinvest in the brand heavily.
So all right, you have all these successful events. Would you consider yourself a successful person?
Yeah, definitely.
And being so successful, how do you manage to maintain a level of humility and not let that get to your head? Because a lot of times that tend to happen.
The reality is sometimes that's people's perception. Because when it can get to your head, don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is you would find that as soon as you begin to get a level of success, especially in certain societies, people around you change. It's not you changing. And eventually certain things about you would start to change. It's like, let's take for example a hairdresser been doing here for probably 5-10 years, and she take time to master her skill, craft, her overall business acumen, her marketing, her clientele, and she now reached to a certain level of success where she went from plotting in a hot kitchen to now owning her own spot, right? Probably buy a nice car, and she started to elevate her lifestyle. Automatically she would start to lose some clients because there's this negative perspective where people feel like the service that she was providing suddenly doesn't have value.
Right.
And you would hear certain things like, this is what she's doing with my money, so I ain't going there no more. And then you stop that cycle of support, and you not even support because you paid for a service.
And you got a service in return.
So you get a service in return, but the way how society, some people in society think is like your win is their loss.
Yeah.
Right? So suddenly this hairdresser could be seen as somebody who is no longer humble just because she started to upgrade certain things in her life. So for me, it's you as a person to know who you are, not what people might consider you to be. Right? So humility, in my opinion, comes from within as a person, and one way for you to stay grounded is to just remember where you started. Right? And know exactly what you're doing it. Because once you have a level of passion involved, ain't nothing to boast about. It's what you love doing. You understand? And the funny thing is, even here, I just mentioned a word, nothing for you to boast about. You ever hear Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, great business people, when you hear them speak about the business that has accomplished great things, you never hear them put it down.
No.
You hear them.
Definitely not.
They say straight, Elon Musk, he says Tesla sells great cars, right?
Right.
So I should have all right to say I do great events. because he has been doing vehicles and he was revolutionary in coming up with EV, right? And seeing that would become eventually the future of transportation. So now you have major brands.
Yeah, but it's one thing to say I have a good product, but it's another thing to say, oh, my product makes me superior as a person to you without a product, a good product.
Your product makes you superior as a person.
Yeah, because that's basically ego speaking. You know what I mean?
Everybody has an ego.
Everybody has
to some extent.
Yeah, everybody has a ego, but keeping that ego in check is very important.
Of course, and that's why I say it comes down to the person. But who would determine that when Elon Musk speaks about his product or his business that he has an ego? You know, any person could then listen him speak about. For me, Elon Musk could talk about his business all day and brag about it as long as he's using stats and facts to prove that this is what his business done. This is the stats. This is what it has accomplished. I would never see that as his ego speaking. Right. That is him talking about what his product is, what his product can do. Right? And I feel like it's a mentality thing where you must choose how you interpret another man speaking about his success. Right? Because if, let's say for example, he's doing an interview, to me it only becomes ego and boastfulness when outside of a certain forum it's just the topic. Yeah. You know, for example, we see now having a conversation and out of nowhere it's just how great it is. Yeah. That could also be him, again, for me, listening to him speak about it even if he wasn't asked about it. Right. So what? That doesn't bother me as a person. Right.
So, two questions.
To me, it's in the eyes of the beholder.
Right. Two questions in one. Why not a traditional career path? And what role does education play in your success? Because you mentioned going to college, as far as college and being college educated. So what role does education play in your success, and why not an office job?
By profession and career-wise, I'm a business analyst. I studied economics. I studied marketing. I did a double minor in business law and computer data application systems. Right? So why not a traditional career? I was in that career because prior to doing Canejuice full time, I mean, we kind of jump in the interview, right? Yeah, but still, prior to doing Canejuice full time, like I said, I started it when I was in school back and forth. So when I finished with school, I just dove into what I went to study, which was, economics, analyzing data, SQL, writing codes, major Excel capabilities. Yeah, that was literally what my job was for probably about 8 years. And then on the side of that, I used to do graphic designs. I still do graphic designs. So I've been using Photoshop now for 20 years.
So a lot of the graphic design work for Canejuice,
that was
done by you.
That for the most part, it was predominantly me. And then finally, I found a graphic designer that could execute what I really like in my way. Like literally, I could tell him what I want, or give him a template to work with. That's the best part about it. Like we could start off a design, and then we jump on the phone and he get it executed for me right away. Right. So it's like, for me, as you go in the business, because I used to take my own photos. Yeah, when Canejuice just started, I used to do my own photo shoots, meaning I had a SLR camera and started to do research on cameras heavy too. Fell in love with the 50mm lens, and that was my sweet lens, and that's what I used to shoot all of my models with when we started Canejuice. Few of my friends. Yeah. So graphic designs, a little bit of music, some photography, video editing skills. The other day I was on YouTube and I found one of my first video advertisements that I ever created. Yeah, and then I just, like I said, once I find that I have a friend who's capable of doing certain things that I could do, then we build a partnership together. Right. So I've been working with, like, for example, Chukapo now for the past. He's been there from the start, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Chukapo would send me some raw videos and know that I might try a thing and get edited, but That's the final touches, man. But in terms of a traditional career, I was on that path. And then the last job that I had in St. Kitts, which was Bono Communication, eventually they closed down in St. Kitts. And they closed down in Nevis afterwards. And after that, when I was looking for jobs, most places were telling me that they can't afford me, one, the amount that they were willing to pay, in their opinion, might have been not what I was willing to take. I remember doing an interview and the lady told me, Canejuice was gonna make enough money for you don't need my job. And at that time, Canejuice wasn't making me no money. Right? So that's when people were believing in the brand even before I was, and they was just continuously pushing me to focus on Canejuice. So that's how I decided to focus full time on Canejuice.
And what type of change you would say you saw in Canejuice promotions when you began to focus on it full time?
Started to grow. And I mean, even look, there were years of struggle, years of losses, years of me wondering how come we don't get the same type of support as others in the business. But at the same time, you gotta go through that.
Right.
Some people now just want it overnight, real quick. And I feel like that is where you're gonna make destruction, because it's a shortcut. But the reality is you have to go through some pains, you have to go through some losses. Enjoy that process. If you genuinely like what you do and you have passion doing it, and you ain't just doing it for the money. Because when I started to do promotions, it wasn't really no promoter for me to look up to per se. Because at that time, in a sense, we kind of helped to create what is now considered an entertainment sector.
Yeah.
Themed events.
So you're trying to tell me you don't have no local inspirations?
You know what I mean? In terms of a promoter?
Yeah. Are people
when I started, right?
Yeah.
There weren't really much promoters in terms of doing major events.
So nobody inspired you to get into promotion?
My inspiration to get into promotions came when I was living in New York.
Oh.
Yeah. I went to that's why I went to my first school of it. And then there's another huge promoter in New York called Jaay Upscale. Just the way how they would do things.
Yeah.
Right. So I was living in New York at the time. That's how I really fell in love with promotions. That's how I get the overall Cool Effect concept. No one in St. Kitts was doing it at the time, so I decided to try that during Carnival.
Yeah, and a question I want to ask about Cool Effect specifically too. Why Cool Effect specific? Because events, the most money is made from the bar, and the concept behind your event is cool as people bring their own drinks.
Yeah, like I tell you, when we initially started, it was really passion more than anything else. We didn't even, I wouldn't say we didn't care about the money, but at that time we were more concerned about building an iconic product and a brand.
Yeah,
right?
You see, I want to repeat that one day. Repeat that so the ones in the back can hear. Hear and talk a little louder.
Yeah.
We were more concerned about building a
brand.
And a product.
And a product, yeah, definitely.
Right. A lot of people miss that,
Yeah.
Because in the beginning stages of any business, you have to build a brand and
of
a
course,
product.
Yeah. And over the years, before we started to get this fancy with aesthetics and setup and all of that, I remember I used to tell my team like, yo, we can't afford all of that at the moment. So we just got to make sure that people fall in love with an experience. It had gotten to a point where, and it still is, once we put out a flyer, people don't even concern about who's on the lineup.
Yeah, because
they're already looking forward to the experience because we build that vibe.
Yeah, you see, transitioning from that point, is it absolutely necessary to bring in overseas artists? Because Canejuice events is a hit within itself. So is it absolutely necessary to bring somebody from outside that costs this X and X and X amount?
Well, first of all, that's entertainment. If we are trying to be bigger in terms of what we do and what we offer and the standard, right? When I was living in New York, I used to feel excited just to know that a band from St. Kitts coming to New York, right, for Carnival, right? Because it's it's literally something that I could relate to, one of our own. When we go to certain events and you don't hear St. Kitts name mentioned, you just feel a kind of way, even though you're enjoying yourself. So put that here now. During Carnival, you have all type of demographics here. You have Jamaicans, you have Dominicans, you have Antiguans, you have St. Lucians, Trinidadians. St. Kitts is a melting pot of various cultures, various ethnicities. So it's not like, for me, we're selfish with who we catering to. We catering to everybody. Plus, Kittitian have icons and artists that they would like to see too. So if every event is the same, then what would make you different? So one, we already built a distinction in terms of the experience. That took a while, right? Then we started to build a distinction. I mean, there were promoters doing events before we were. So in no way, shape or form, you know, I'm saying that, because you asked about being inspired by them. I would have attended a few events, right, in St. Kitts and not even know who hosted them. And it's only after getting into the business then I would know, oh, is this one do that? Because there's a guy on my team, MK. MK was a promoter, but I didn't even know some of the events that he used to do. TNO Sounds, which is part of my team, and I'm a part of them now, you know, because I DJ sometimes though. They were also promoters, right? So it's like we wanted to be a brand that is doing things on a major scale, and in a different way. So with us now, bring your ask if it is absolutely necessary for us to do it. I wouldn't even phrase it that way. We're just catering on a broader scale to much more than just one single demographic, right? And the reality is, Canejuice Events is one of the most unique and biggest promotions in the region. When you look at the caliber of artists that we hire, we book, the production levels, it's evident, right? And not even me, I myself didn't recognize this until I realized, like, yo, when I travel, the levels that we bring forth is similar, even better. And then you would have patrons that come here, because I mean the numbers don't lie for itself during December. You could tell that it's locals coming out, foreigners coming out, expats coming out. So we're doing something right? And it's not absolutely necessary for every event, but based on the type of event that we are having, you know, it's something that we choose to do. Because again, if every single weekend, every event looks the same, with the same lineup, what would make our product unique or different? And I don't just, Canejuice has gone from being just a regular brand to an entertainment tourism product. Our intention is to have people fly into St. Kitts. This look how you have Dream Weekend, and you have Miami Carnival, BRT Weekend, you have Suns Festival. I mean, bro, that's the levels that we're aiming to be on. I know.
Not just local then.
No,
not
international.
Just, because another question is, are there aspirations to take Canejuice international? Because we see a promotion where I feel like Canejuice is similar to his Suns, the Suns promotion, and you see Suns gone international basically. Suns,
bro, some of my friends, right, is promoters, and when they would say to me, bro, what you doing in St. Kitts, you will be making bank,
bringing it overseas,
doing it overseas. And when I bring artists here, they would say like, bro, this they wasn't expecting it. The production and the levels of what we do is top tier.
Absolute.
Like
I years me I come a cool effect, you know.
Respect. And you see the levels go each time, right?
Every time.
It's intentional.
Every time. And speaking of growth now, this year we see Cool Effect grow from just Cool Effect to Caribbean Love Festival with the
Carnival Love Festival.
And with the Pure Bliss, and it's now 2 nights instead of 1. Why that change?
For me, I study a lot. I study businesses a lot, right? I study successful businesses. One of my favorite businesses is Apple, right? You must see the transition and evolution of a great brand. We've made 10 years, right? And I feel like we've celebrated milestones as we go along. And for me to, I'll never forget that story from Sherwin. He tell me in about 10 years you wouldn't believe where he come to, right? And I've also heard others I've worked with various service providers and I've booked over 100 artists, right? And all of them have always said the same thing. And for me, when we got to that 10-year mark, it was time, especially after the pandemic. The pandemic put my creative juices to work, right?
Right.
I had known since 2019 that we're going into 2 nights. Because based on the scale that it had gotten to, the amount of acts that we're booking in 1 night, the market continuously expects them. I mean, by now they know that when you see a Canejuice event, is a certain caliber and standard coming. But the one night event was just becoming 1, too long. 2, the creme de la creme dates really is Christmas and beyond, I would say, during Carnival.
From Christmas to the 2nd of January.
Basically. So we wanted now to have something where, and the thing is, that date had more or less became one that people are accustomed for it to be on. So it's like our date now in a sense, right? If we were to switch to the week after, well, it would be good for people coming in, but then it might be a disadvantage to some of the promoters and then all the other events that are taking place. So we work out, look, this is when we usually do our thing, and we're going to just build on that weekend. And instead now we're setting up this grand production for 1 night.
Yeah, because I see the clear advantage of everything is here.
Yes.
So just adding a next night to it.
It makes more sense.
Splitting the lineup, because you can see where over the years in growing, you see one from 1 and 2 major act to 3 and 4
and
so
4 and 5
and 4 and 5.
Yes.
So you split that 1.1 night, and you just it's just a balancing effect.
It's based. You're brilliant. That's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
We balance it. And then we also made it more attractive now for people that may be wondering, should I fly in for one event?
Yeah.
No, I could fly in for the weekend because it's 2 events.
And the next thing too, somebody flying in from overseas is seeing Skeng, they must say IQ.
Yeah.
You're probably coming from somewhere where you probably never
see them before.
See them before.
Yeah.
And then now
that's where the tourism aspect of what we do come into play. Right? When look, I run numbers. You see, when we do events like this, we pump over $4 million in the economy.
Wow.
Yeah. And I could say this clearly. Because like I said, I studied economics. But I'm going to show you a simple way to view it. Just one example, right? If you have 1,000 people coming saying it's because of this one weekend that we're hosting, how much money you think foreigners come with to spend in St. Kitts if they're doing a weekend? Just call our amount.
At least 5,000 US.
That's a lot. We do this mathematics based on the least amount possible. 600 US. And 600 US is nothing. If you're coming in, when we traveling from St. Kitts to go foreign, right?
Realistically speaking, I think nobody come back home
with 600 US. But that was said.
But using
just to solidify and even magnify the point what I'm telling you. If 1,000 people come home or come to St. Kitts from Antigua, the UK, wherever they come from, when we bring 1,000 people here, if each one of them spends 600 US, that's 600,000 US. That's over $1 million EC. No, just to stay in the hotel alone, that's 600 US
okay,
done.
Hold on now. Before you get ahead of yourself now, there will be some people listening and saying, the period of time you're referencing for Cola Fete is around Carnival.
Yeah.
So irregardless, people will be coming in.
No, brother.
So how do you differentiate the people coming in?
People travel to a Carnival destination based on who is there and what is happening.
Yeah.
Why do people go to Dream Weekend?
Boy, Dream Weekend different to them. Remember Dream Weekend events in Jamaica kind of different to me.
You know why?
You know why? For you to get 5 top acts per year event, it gonna cost you mind-blowing amounts of money.
Okay.
But in Jamaica, you got 5 of the top artists them are gonna come for free. Regardless.
Jamaica is the Mecca.
But yes, Jamaica is the Mecca, yeah.
So people traveling there because of who's there, the artists them, the entertainers, right? The events. That's what people traveling to Jamaica for. Where we got Trinidad for Carnival, it's the same thing. You see top artists, great events. That's what you do it. Same thing for Miami Carnival. What you think St. Kitts Carnival any different? People traveling there based on what is happening. So when you see events such as ours, and you got others too, but when you look at a St. Kitts Carnival and you realize, Kess there, Voice there, Skeng, Asa Banton,
Jada
Kingdom, IQ. We're going to St. Kitts for the weekend.
Wow.
So tourism is heavily impacted by entertainment, brother. People come to St. Kitts Music Festival because who is on the festival? Plus, over the years, you build a name. So it's the same thing. Dream Weekend build a name over the years. Cool Effect build a name over the years, right? So once people know that is happening, and now you add the fact that superstars there, right? Plus, St. Kitts now, our artists, I would say, starting to bust. You don't know one big artist now from St. Kitts. They're going to shine the light more on St. Kitts artists, right? Boy. Some of these connections come about when we put on major shows.
Right.
So what I'm showing you now is these people flying into St. Kitts based on what is happening. And this is stats and facts. When you see people saying, I see what's going on for Cool Effect, I'm going to book my ticket. You understand? So 1,000 people fly here and spend 600 US, which is nothing. So if 1,000 people come and spend 1,000 US, that's $1 million US. That's 2.7 million EC in the economy alone. That have nothing to do with you who gonna buy 3, 4, 5 ticket for 3, 4, 5 women to come. And them.
Whoa. How the bomb buckler I talk to father. Father, I said No, father, you travel for St. Kitts to go set me up. No,
just saying.
But seriously speaking,
Look, them 4 or 5 females, they're gonna buy clothes.
Wig.
They're going to do their hair, they're buying a wig, they're doing the nails.
Yeah, but I understand the economics behind it. Yes, I understand.
But that's what
but
that's
what I'm
the velocity
saying is,
now, money turning over.
Yeah, what I'm saying is there will be persons saying you cannot just bring it down to just Cool Effect or the Canejuice promotion.
No, it's not. It's a conglomerate of events.
Right.
But at the end of the day, right? Take away major events and take away entertainment, period. I'm saying though, our event, regardless, I am proving stats and facts. I wouldn't know how much people flying in to attend an event that we're doing. If you're saying that it's not just our event, then that means every event should have 5,000 people.
Right. In the interest of time, there's something.
You get my point?
Yeah, me definitely get your point, fam. Me definitely get your point. But in the interest of time, cause you don't know kind of limited in time. We saw.
We could talk as much as you want, but we have to part two.
No. But for tonight, for the first episode,
I want to understand what I'm saying.
No, me definitely understand what you're saying.
Facts.
No.
Even when you come for like another major event, like people flying.
But what I really want to do, but want people to get clarity as to yes, you actually know where your tax is. You dig what I say? Because remember, fam, with where we live, with which part we live right now in that small community,
Definitely.
It's easy for somebody just take something and run with it, So the more clarity you give, and it's like explaining anything that gonna go in the public domain. It's best to have it in a ABC 1, 2, 3.
Definitely.
And
that's why you see me giving you the various facets.
Yeah. And that's what I'm looking for.
Of what makes it an impact, what makes it an attractive event. Like I said, I give you an example of music festival.
Yeah,
I give you a White Sands. Let me tell you, White Sands, it's like at a point in time though, people were flying to St. Kitts just because of White Sands.
No. We're not doing that,
Yeah.
We're not doing
So I could tell you, because we collect data. You realize we've been pushing online sales. You say you've been coming to our events for a while.
I'm telling you, I'm going to show you a picture of them.
Okay, so we're pushing online sales, right? Since, 20 years now, right? We upgrade our system, and that's one thing for me, like, even though we didn't really come for money, like I said, we invest heavily in the business. So, we've been the unfortunate recipients of theft, and we were able to find out who and how they stole our tickets just by an advanced database system.
Wow.
Right? So we collect data heavily, which is why I could tell you the stats that we're giving you, forget people who come in home then. Let's just say 4,000 locals coming. Out of these 4,000 locals, how much of that crowd you think jumping online got order clothes when they hear boom, Cooler Fet and Pure Bliss? About 50%. When that 50% jump online and buy clothes averaging over 400, 500, 600 US, and then they ship it back here.
Customs.
You got customs fees
You
now
have
to
the small
collect.
shipping company there.
And then you have the shipping company them, right? You have overall taxes and clothes and these things about 42%. So if one man spend 400 US, that means he gonna spend at least 175 in taxes.
You see, that's how I look for. Them
Yeah.
kind of explanation there
Yeah,
for
but
the people. You see, me understand it, you know.
Yeah.
You see, from the minute you say it, me understand it because there are 1,000 scenarios running in my head. But more people forget
The different levels.
there.
So you have revenues coming into the country from incoming travelers.
Yeah.
You have revenues flowing through the country from domestic spenders.
Yeah.
Right? You have the spin-off, the rental, the barbershop, the hair salon, the nail tech, the MUA. People taking tattoos now. People taking piercings to go out.
Plug Jaay.
Right?
I don't know. Small plug Jaay.
So in so much ways, various businesses benefit. Right? I had a meeting with policeman telling me he went to a company on this side, didn't even have enough vehicles that week. Right? Another one saying that one of his friends them asked if he don't know anybody with a personal extra vehicle that they're willing to rent. So we know that based on the levels of what we do, the impact it would have on the economy. This is no discreditation to anybody or anything else. That's just, the reality. For me to say that what we do has an impact, it's proud. I'm happy for that.
Wow.
Right? Because it's no longer about us. And when you really think about it, if one of our tickets costs $150, right? One customer paying me $150 to experience this event, which is a steal of a deal because entertainment prices have gone up.
All right.
But wait,
Yeah.
$150 for the ticket. How much for the shoes? The shoe store gonna make money on that one customer. How much to beat your face? Probably $175. The MUA gonna make more money from that one customer.
Definitely.
To put on the wig for $250. So bro, at the end of the day, right, it's a good thing for me to know that what we're doing actually generates business. And now that evidence, because you realize the government stay campaigning on governments or the various political parties campaign heavily on entertainment. There's a reason why.
Because of the value entertainment.
Of course, and then oftentimes it's overlooked after the fact, but the reality it shows is the stats is there.
Before we go, booking dancehall artists. Dancehall artists have a reputation of being unruly.
Yeah.
What has been the experience booking dancehall artists over the years? Because you hear the stories of promoters,
Honestly, the type of relationship that I have built with my links in the business, I hardly have, on a scale from 1 to 10, out of all the artists I've ever booked, I've probably only had to deal with one unruly. Not even artist, but the manager. So before you even get to that, like, I would often try to introduce myself. Sometimes I don't even get to meet some of the acts. They just deal with my team and the liaison, and they would recognize based on the levels and how we deal with them that is a standard. I negotiate 10 times harder with foreign acts compared to locals. Yeah, because most times the market set at people see entertainers outside of St. Kitts, see St. Kitts market as they got money to spend. And that's not my fault. Like, even before me, music festival.
Yeah, man, say music festival brought them bad basically.
Bad. And we pay more for artists in St. Kitts than where they get paid when they're doing shows in America. Trust me. That's why I tell you this going on a part two. And another thing I want to talk about
we definitely have to have a part.
You see, in this business, you have so much people now doing promotions, right? It kind of, everybody must know what the value is to the market and don't undercut it. Because I could be doing an event and my event costs 100 and somebody copy that same lineup, put an event the night before and sell that for 25. That's how you undercut the market, right? it's just too much shortcut ways in which we could bring down the value lower than what it already is. And it ain't even just in entertainment. Because I was having the same conversation with a hairbrainer, right?
Yeah. With every business.
Yeah, in St. Kitts, I feel like even in the food business, you come on a strip, you realize everybody's selling chicken for $50. But you walk out, you're going to come through and sell yours for $20.
Yeah.
You just bring down the entire value. And as much as you start getting people coming to you, and some of them going to cuss and say, but them man up the strip, the man greedy, selling the thing for $50. I'm glad you're here for $20. How long you going to be there for $20? After you realize how much you really cost.
No, after you realize why the man they sell them for $50.
Exactly.
You're gone.
So you're going to start to suffer, or you're going to jump your prices, and then the people in the market going to realize now, but wait, how you just start and go from 20 to 50?
No, you know what really happened? Your product, now we're at the $50, you know.
Yeah, you mean who just starting?
Who just start?
Yeah, you're going to take time.
Yeah, your product now we're at the $50 yet. And people were only coming to you because you were selling for 20. Isn't it? We don't know. We don't want to go on enough, fam. Because we look into things, you know. But people, remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
With the interest of time, you don't know, fans have cut so. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.
I'm going to check the behind the scenes for this.
Hoy, and I said nobody now believe it. Well, if them here say I beat it, me and the pastor, me not go preach it to how we all it down. Yeah, man, it's Dejo, and I mean giving you a different perspective on Perspectives Media. Easy.
Perspectives Media.
There's not enough flights touching here. So there's two ways they could assist. One, create some form of subvention. Our investment into the overall economy doesn't necessarily deserve a reward. But if I was to send my proposal to a white man, a Chinese, I'm not racist, just keeping it real, right? White man, Chinese, Indian, or even a wealthy African investor and say, hey, I want you to take my idea and pitch it to the government. Carnival Love Festival. Yeah, man, we're going to come down there. You're going to have flights touching down non-stop. We're guaranteeing you at least 2,500 people coming over. The hotels are going to be full. And if he's a Chinese man, wherever he going to say. If he's Indian, he want his accent, we're going to make it happen. You understand? And I promise you, probably 90%, they would get financial support from the government.